Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea, and today we're going to talk about the RawBeautyKristi and Pure Cosmetics collaboration palette. I did not get the lashes because I'm not a lash person, but we are going to talk all things palette today. This palette is beautiful. If you haven't seen it before, it has two different sides. One side is neutral, and the other side is colorful. And I have seen this done one time before. I feel like people aren't talking about this much, but Shan XO did a palette like this with BH Cosmetics, I believe, a couple of years ago. But the idea is genius, especially you can tell that the palette is so thin and you do get a mirror on both sides. So that's an amazing thing to have to travel with. I feel like this palette is really well-rounded. Kristi did a really good job. So congratulations, Kristi. So the shadows in this are actually pressed pigments, I believe. Kristi said that in her video, which means they're all super pigmented. There wasn't anything that was really lacking in pigmentation for me. Tribute is the purple in the palette. This one does swatch a little bit sheer, but you can pack it on the eye pretty well and get pretty good pigmentation out of it. Everything else worked wonderfully for me. You'll see at the end of the video, I did do 3 looks with this palette for the video. I actually did another look with this palette that isn't in this video, but there's pictures of it on my Instagram. And that's at Andrea Kristen Beauty as well, the same as my YouTube channel. So there's almost all mattes in this palette on each side. There's only one shimmer shade in the center. Both of the shimmer shades are also super pigmented and high shine. That is what I have on my eyes right now, is the shade Golden Ticket from the neutral side. I do have something on top of it, but you'll see that later in the video. One thing I do have to say about this palette is there is a lot of fallout in the pans and for me on the face as well. For on the face, it's mostly the colorful side. With the colorful side, I did a look using Garden State, Tribute, Hurtful, and Side Effect. The blue, green, purple, and pink. And I did get a lot of fallout from Garden State and Hurtful. I do highly recommend doing your eyes first whenever you're using this palette. With the neutral side, you're a little bit safer to do your face first, but you still can get a little bit of fallout, especially with the deeper shades B and You're Not My Real Dad. Kristi did such a good job creating this palette. Excuse mine, it's a little dirty. As you can see, there's all these drawings on both sides of the palette. Kristi drew these herself and they put them on the palette. There's her husband and her kitties. So cute. And one way to tell the difference between the two sides is the logo. So this holographic side is the colorful side, and then when you flip it over, the rose goldy color is the neutral side. My favorite colors in the palette are It Just Does, Moo Point, let me show you real quick, and Golden Ticket on this side. So pretty. And on the colorful side, my favorite shades are Garden State, Tribute, Cafe Disco, and Side Effect. The white shade right here is super pigmented. You can pack this on really heavily. Look at that. So pretty. I did have some staining on the eyes with this. Mostly the colorful shades, the pink and the purple, are the ones that I noticed it with, but nothing too bad. It was gone by the next day, or the next time I did my makeup / skincare routine. Let's go ahead and do some live swatches real quick so you can see what it looks like. I'm gonna start on the colorful side and go from top to bottom. The first shades are Camelot, It Just Does, and My Whole Heart. Next we have Copper Boxes, Golden Ticket, and Moo Point. And then we have B, Told You, and You're Not My Real Dad. And I think I accidentally covered up the My Whole Heart cream shade, so I'm going to add that back in at the top real quick. There you go, that's the neutral side. And now let's do the colorful side. First we have Flavor Town, Garden State, and Tribute. And then we have I Am Orange, Cafe Disco, and Side Effect. Look at how gorgeous Cafe Disco is. Whew. And lastly, we have Dandelion, Hurtful, and Lumos. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. And there's the colorful side. Now it's time to jump into the 3 looks I created with this palette. I'll leave all of the details for each look down below in the description box if you have any questions. And thanks for watching. Okay, so the first look we're going to do is going to be with the bright side. We might dip into the neutral side just a little bit. I'm going to be recreating a look that I saw on Twitter. I'll pop in a picture of it by It's Lexi Baby. And it's kind of like a sunsetty purple, pink tone. So first, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Dandelion on a fluffy brush. This one is from Wet n Wild. I think it's from one of their holiday sets. And I primed my lids with Tarte Shape Tape. The last couple of times I've used this, I primed with my NARS eyeshadow primer, and I had a smidge of an issue with some blending. So we're gonna see if the Shape Tape works a little bit better. So that's about where I want the yellow. I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush. I'll take this Luxie 205 Tapered Blending. And I'm gonna go into Am I Orange? And we're gonna go a little bit lower. So I'm actually gonna dip into the other side real quick. I'm gonna go into It Just Does and add a little bit of that peachiness. Alright, so back to the colorful side. I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This is a Morphe M507. It's a really tiny little blending brush. And I'm gonna get pretty precise into the crease with this. I'm gonna go back in with the bigger brush we used with the yellow and add a little bit more of that on top. And I'm gonna go back in a little bit with the peach shade too. I lost some of that with the purple. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of the purple and the peach to the outer corner. We're gonna pack it on a little bit. The purple can be a little bit sheer, so I'm definitely gonna have to pack that quite a bit. I'm gonna use a MAC 217. I'm bringing a little bit more of that peach shade into the inner corner as well. I like to get in here really good and define that. I feel like it helps shape my eyes since they're hooded. Doesn't that make such a beautiful shade, the purple and the peach mixed together? Ooh. It's pretty. So I'm gonna cut the crease now. I'm gonna use some Tarte Shape Tape. Go in with a Morphe M124 with the concealer. And I'm just taking a really tiny amount. It doesn't need to be a lot. And we're just gonna do a half cut crease. Maybe about halfway. Now I'm gonna take the purple Tribute again, and I'm going to blend that over the edges. It looks like it's a mix of the purple and the white because it's like a pastel purple, but I'm gonna go in with the purple first to kind of blend them together. Now I'm gonna go in with Sephora Pro Flat Concealer Brush, number 76. I normally use this for inner corner highlight, but we're going all matte today, so. So that looks nice, but it's not exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna mix in a little bit of the peach. That's beautiful. I don't think this is exactly the color from the look that I saw, but I'm feeling it. I think it looks really good. Going to add some wing liner. Okay, I had to finish my eyeliner off camera. I ended up opening the Hank and Henry Blickity Black Longwear Liquid Eyeliner that I got in a BoxyCharm a while ago. I hadn't opened it yet, and it worked really well. So I'm gonna finish the rest of my face and I'll come back to do the lower lash line with you guys. I'm back. I thought I was filming, but I wasn't. My phone was full of storage, so I had to delete stuff. But all I did was put I'm Orange on my lower lash line. I'm gonna go in with the Morphe E36. Looks like this. And I'm gonna go into Tribute and throw that on the lower outer corner of the lash line. I'm gonna go back into I Am Orange and add a little bit more of that. Let's put some white in the waterline. This is Colourpop cream gel liner and Exit, but it's the white shade. Okay, I'm gonna do just a smidge of this. I feel like when I do too much white eyeliner in the waterline, it looks really unnatural. And time for mascara. I'm gonna curl my lashes as well. I'm gonna use the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes and then put the Essence Lash Princess. I always start with a waterproof mascara because my eyelashes won't hold a curl unless I use waterproof. You could totally put lashes on with this if you wanted to. I'm just not really a lash person. I don't wear them very often. So that's it for the first look with the RawBeautyKristi palette. What do you think? Excuse my brows. You're not staying up. I've been trying to love this Patrick Ta brow. I just don't know if it holds them in place well enough. Alright, this is look number 2 with the RawBeautyKristi palette. I'm gonna prime my eyes with Tarte Shape Tape again. That worked really well for me yesterday with the palette. I'm gonna set it today though. I didn't set it yesterday because I was using the colorful side. Today I'm gonna use the more neutral side, and we are going to focus this around the shade Moo Point and do something a little mauve. And I'm going to set my eyes with My Whole Heart, the cream shade. And this brush is from a Coastal Scents set, super old. So I'm gonna go into Mood Point with a Moda Pro, Royal and Nickel Moda Pro BMX 430 crease brush. I'm gonna go into the crease with windshield wiper motions and build that up. Such a pretty shade. I'm gonna add it to the outer corner as well. Today's look is gonna be a little more simple than the first one. Such a pretty shade. So what are you guys watching right now on Netflix or Hulu or Prime? I just restarted watching New Girl. It's so funny. I'm cracking up laughing. I forgot how much I love that show. There's only a couple of shows that I feel like I can rewatch all the time, and I think that's definitely one of them, or it's gonna become one that I rewatch regularly. There is quite a bit of fallout in the pans of this, so I do blow off the excess quite a bit, but that doesn't bother me very much. So I'm gonna kind of stick with the cooler tones. I'm gonna go in with You're Not My Real Dad on the outer corner, and to deepen the crease a little bit, I'm using a MAC 217. Woo! It's pigmented. A little tiny bit goes a long way with this shade. Just lightly dusting. I'm gonna add a little bit more Mood Point on top of that, just to bring back some of the mauve. So I actually think I'm going to take a little bit of Mood Point and bring it all the way across the lid, and then Kristi said that one of the reasons she made this mostly a matte palette was so you can use other shades with it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna put a shimmer on top of this. So I'm gonna take the Hourglass Scattered Light shadow in the shade Smoke. And I'm gonna pat that on the inner 2/3 of the lid. And the reason I put that mauve underneath was to kind of give it a little bit of a mauve look. I feel like when I use this specific shade of this shadow, it always comes out more cool toned than I want it to be. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. So that just helped transform the shade just a little bit. So that's it for the top. I'm gonna go off camera and do the rest of my face, and I'll come back to finish the eyes with you. And we're back. Time to do the lower lash line. I'm gonna start with Mood Point on a Morphe E36, just a small pencil brush. I'm gonna drag that all the way across. And with the same brush, I'm gonna take a little bit of You're Not My Real Dad, just on the outer portion of the lower lash line, outer third. I'm also gonna take that a little bit and do that on the upper outer third. So it's time for mascara. I'm gonna use a combination of the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes and the Essence Lash Princess. I always put waterproof on first and then go in with something that's not waterproof on top. This is the final look for look number 2. On my lips, I've got Makeup Forever Endless Cacao, and then I dabbed on MAC Myrrh all around. What do you think? This is the mauve look of my dreams. I love mauves on me, especially with blue eyes. So let me know in the comments what you think of this look, and I'll be back for look number 3. And we're back for look number 3. So today I'm going to use the neutral side of the palette. And this is a look that I did for my birthday the other day, so I'm just gonna recreate it. I've already primed my eyelids with Tarte Shape Tape, and now I'm going to set them with the shade My Whole Heart. And now I'm gonna go into Copper Boxes with a Royal & Nickel Moda Pro crease brush. And now I'm gonna go into Camelot with the same Royal & Nickel brush. And I'm gonna go back into Copper Boxes and add that on the outer corner. And now I'm gonna go in with a MAC 217 and the shade B. And now I'm gonna take the NYX glitter glue on the lid. And I'm gonna let that dry for just a second. And then when it's finished drying, I'm gonna go in and put Golden Ticket on top. Now I'm gonna go back in with the MAC 217 and blend over the edges of that with a mixture of copper boxes and B. And now I'm gonna go in with Stila Wonderlust and just tap some of that on top. If I don't want full opacity with this, I find the best way to do it is to put a little bit on my finger and just go in and pat. Now I'm gonna take the shade B and maybe a little bit of You're Not My Real Dad on a Lavish fine liner brush, and I'm gonna do a wing liner with this. And I did get a little bit of fallout from that, but it's okay, I'm just gonna wipe it off real quick. I did end up using mostly You're Not My Real Dad and just a little bit of B. Now I'm gonna hop off camera and finish my face, and I'll be back to finish the lower lash line. All right, I'm back with the rest of my face done, and now let's do the lower lash line. First, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of B and You're Not My Real Dad. A Morphe E36 brush. It's a very small pencil brush. And now I'm gonna go in with a Morphe E18 and go into copper boxes. And now I'm going to go in with an eyeliner in the waterline. And this is from Pure. It's the On Point eyeliner in Down to Earth. I actually got this in my order for my RawBeautyKristi palette because of the issues with the launch day. So that was pretty cool. And now I'm gonna go into my highlighter and use that on the inner corner. And I'm using MAC Oh Darling. And this is a permanent item, but this is in limited edition packaging from when it originally came out. And for the brush, I'm gonna use the Sephora Pro Flat Concealer Brush, number 76. And now we're gonna do some bottom mascara. I'm gonna use the Lash Princess. And that's it for the final look with the RawBeautyKristi and Pure Cosmetics Duality palette. What do you think?